Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Bloom Outdoors. So it's a little windy outside, but if you guys haven't checked out the last video where we painted the mirror caps, which actually are sitting right here, still drying. But if you guys haven't checked out that video, make sure you go check it out. Anyways, today we are going to be installing tow mirrors on the truck right there from Boost Auto Parts. And so the tow mirrors I got have the paintable caps on them, which are painted right there, drying. But all the painting and everything is in the last video, so make sure you go check that out if you want to. But other than that, here is our mirrors. It came with a sticker, a koozie, and all of everything else. We've got our wiring, and we've got the tow mirrors. If you want a total unboxing, go check out the painting video, and that is your total unboxing in there. Just to show you guys, or tell you guys what I got here, is I'm reading it off a list, but I don't want to show you all my information. So I got the mirrors with the paintable caps, which they do not come painted, you have to paint them yourself. That's what I got. And I got the ones with the smoked lenses and the switchbacks, which the switchbacks are, basically they have an all-time running light, and then they switch back to the blinker when you hit the blinker. So just like my headlights, if you guys are familiar with those, then they're just like that. And I also got the heated glass on the upper glass section only. That's just what it came with. You would have to pay extra if you wanted it for the lower, and I did not do that, so I just went with the upper, as well as it was a 2018, so that was an additional charge, which I don't know why, but it was. And then there was also an additional charge because my truck did not come with puddle lamps from the factory. So that makes it, I believe it's an 8-pin wiring harness, whereas if it came with puddle lamps, it's either a 21 or 22-pin wiring harness, but this did not have it. It was just an 8-pin wiring harness. So that's what is all included here. So tonight I am going to go ahead and try and get these all installed, if not totally installed, as much as I can get done for tonight, and then finish the rest of it tomorrow night. Still got the truck backed in. We're gonna go ahead, pull it out, and we're gonna start by working on the driver's side mirror here. And like I said, these are still drying, so we're gonna try and go ahead and get the mirrors put on, or at least what we can do tonight. And then probably tomorrow is when these will totally be done drying. Then we'll go ahead and snap them on. So for now, we're just gonna try our best to get as much done. And then at the end of the video, which is tomorrow for me, then we should have everything totally done. The caps on and the mirrors installed. All right, so we went ahead and got the truck pulled out here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get a little trim panel removal tool, and we're going to get rid of this piece right here. So we'll have to pop that behind here, and this piece will just pop right off. Lighting is bad, but we're gonna go ahead and get this wedged in here somehow. Not quite sure how. There we go. Not quite sure what you guys can all see there, but I just took this piece, got it on this back side here, popped it off. So now what we should be able to do is just undo this wiring and undo that clip. And just a little heads up, because I was curious about this with my truck too, is this is the 8-pin wiring harness, and it is for an STX truck, which if anyone is familiar with it, the STX truck does not have that light or turn signal right here. I think it's XLT and above, you get that light right here. So with this truck, you do not get any kind of light or anything on the stock mirror. So I was curious as to if there was still wiring in there, but then when I thought about it, there has to be, because you've got these buttons here to control your mirrors to move around. So there had to be some kind of wiring that did go in there. So we are able to make this all work. So we've got this undone. Now we can take this off, and then there should be one right here and right here. Bad lighting, but there, and there. We can take all those off, and this mirror should just be able to pop right off. All right, so these ones right here are 10 millimeter. sweet. It looks like these ones back here are also 10 millimeter. So we'll take these out, and this mirror should be free and loose, and I really don't want it to just fall on the ground, so I'm gonna grab a hold of it, set you guys down. Actually, what I'm gonna do here, guys, I'm gonna go grab my key and I'm gonna roll this window down so I can grab a hold of that mirror while I'm undoing this. There we go. So now I can grab a hold of this mirror before it decides to fall on me while I'm taking these bolts off. Hopefully you guys can see everything fine. I really don't know. I hope it's recording as well. All right, we got those 4 bolts off. So this mirror should be free and loose. So we should just be able to grab it and should just come off. Might be stuck a little bit somewhere. Shouldn't be stuck. We should just be able to pull it straight off. There we go. And there we go, guys. Mirror is off. Here's our mirror. The truck is now mirrorless. Looks really weird, not gonna lie. Let's go ahead and get these mirrors, or this mirror, I guess. Just sit down there, out of the way. And then this here should be, yeah, this should be the right side. So we'll pull this out and I'll compare them next to each other real quick. Here's a little side-by-side comparison. So it looks like the actual mirror part, like the main mirror part, this and this, is pretty close to the same size. This one might be a little bit bigger because it's flat, or this one arches up. But then we've got this huge blind spot area in this one as well. And also, this one says mirror defroster there, where this one says it nowhere on there because it did not have that before. So I'm not quite sure how that really works because I don't have a button in my cab either that says mirror defroster on it anywhere. So don't know how that's gonna work. But I'm gonna go ahead and get all the styrofoam cleaned off of this mirror, and then we'll get it set up in there, and we'll get the same bolts put right back in, because from my understanding you do use the stock bolts that were on the truck. That's what you hook back up into here, because it's the same thing, 2 bolts there and then 2 back up in there. You guys just can't see it at this angle. So we went ahead, got this thing put up here, got all the bolts through. It's really hard to film and do stuff at the same time. We got all the bolts through, got all that stuff back on, got these bolts back in. This was the wiring that came on the mirror. We just plugged it right back in. And with this setting, it makes the turn signals work. So I went ahead and tried it out. And it would go with the smoke lens, and I hit the button and the turn signals turned on with it. But now, in order to get the running light aspect of it to work, there was this blue wire right down here. To get that to work, we're gonna have to take off this door panel and run this wire down somewhere, and it like pops up into this rubber boot in the side. I'm not for sure, I'll figure it out as I go. All right guys, here we are back. So it is actually the next day now. I worked on this all night and I just could not figure it out. I couldn't figure it out by myself or really watching other videos. So I had to go on Boost Auto Parts website and I watched their install video, and it still was really confusing and it took me a really long time. And I got like halfway through and basically I had to park the truck overnight, like with no door panel and looking terrible. But here we are the next day. I just got the first side finished. So let me show you guys what I all did. So I'm gonna show you what I did on this side here, and it does work. I already tested it out and everything. I just left the door panel off for now so that I can show you guys the wiring and where I had to run it and everything. And then I'll try and walk you through the next door, since now that I actually know what I'm doing. And also let me just say, before you buy these, just know if you are gonna go with either the running light or switchback, be in for a treat because it's gonna take you quite a while. If you only go with the turn signal, then all you have to do is pop this off, get the new mirror on, and you just plug in this right here. Super easy. But if you want the daytime running light, feature of it, or like the switchback, then it's going to take you quite a while. At least for me it did. Hopefully this next side will be quicker, but this first side took a long time. I showed you guys the removal of the mirror and putting the new one on. So we've got the wiring coming up through here, and then you've got this blue wire. This is for the on and off of that daytime running light, and this is the wire that was super hard to get done. So what I did was I ran it down, I ran it behind this control module, come down through here. This is all my extra wire here. I zip tied it up to this little white clip. You come in through here and you had to slit a hole in this rubber boot here, and then the wire runs up and it goes in to this boot in the door, and I couldn't even get on the back side of it, so I had to cut a hole on the inside. So there's no holes cut on the outside, but it is cut on the inside because I couldn't get all the way back around. And to get from here to here, you have to use something metal. So I used actually like a little flag wherever it went. Right here, just a flag because it was a long metal piece. So I stuck that up and I got it to up here, kind of fished that wire through there, pulled all the wire out, and then you have to cut this zip tie off. And there was 2 clips here you have to undo, and then you have to take basically this whole thing off, and then you have to run the wire up through this whole area, and then it plugs in somewhere up here. It's either B8 or B11 is the plug. This side was B11. I'll show you guys with the other side, which side this would be. This side is B11 that it plugs into, the other side is B8. And then you plug everything back in, put it all back together, pull all your wire through, make a big loop of your wire of whatever's left over. There's quite a lot left over. And then it comes with 2 zip ties, so I used, well, 2 zip ties for each side. So I used one here and I used one right here. But other than that, that is pretty much everything here. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the door panel, get that installed, and then I will show you guys the total final product of what we have on this side, and then I'll walk you through on the other side what it looks like. All right guys, so we have now got one of the mirrors on. So we've got this side put on right here. So I'll just show you guys quick a little comparison of the two. You can see here what the one looks like versus the stock mirror on here. So stock mirror versus the Boost Auto Parts mirror. We do not have the caps on yet. They're still being painted. This is what it looks like. So when you look down here, you can see there's kind of a gap here. I noticed that, but I did look at the other side and there is the same gap. So nothing to worry about there. And like I said, it is also the smoked lens with the switchback. And then this is just the STX truck, so we do not have the power folding or anything. So it's just the manual folding, just like that. We've got the manual folding ones. Oh, these are hard to open. And then we also have got the manual slide out on it for when we actually are towing anything, if we need to use it. They stick out really far like that. But push them back in, show you guys what it looks like. So here's our stance. We have 12 wides, and there is our mirrors versus over here we've got 12 wides and the stock mirrors. It definitely makes the tires look wider and bigger with the stock mirrors. I partially did these mirrors for the looks, and that's with the smoked lens and the switchbacks and turn signal and all that. I did that part for the looks, but for the actual mirror part itself, I did it for actual usability, because it's so hard for me to see out of the stock mirrors, especially because I've got 5% tint on the windows. It makes it even harder to see out of. But just for regular daily driving and being able to see the tires, make sure I'm not gonna hit a curb, all that stuff, then I think these are definitely gonna be an improvement. And being able to see behind me and actual usability is what I got them for. But like I said, partially for the looks with this and the painted caps. Don't mind the noise, somebody's mowing right next to us. Now that we've got this one side done, I've got the door panel put back on, I've got everything put back together here. I'll show you guys with the headlight what it all looks like, if you guys can even really see. So here's unlock. You can see the headlight does its thing, and then hit unlock again, it turns like that. it goes to that amber first, and then it switches over to just the LED. You can see the difference here. You can notice that this the mirror light does turn LED before the headlight by like half a second or something, but they don't do it at the same time. It'd be cool if they did, but they don't. But unlike on the other side where all we have is the headlight, nothing on there, I think it's gonna look super sweet when this ends up getting done. And then when we hit lock, it just goes amber, and then that's it. Nothing else turns on with it. It's not like unlock. Whereas the headlights do stay on with a DRL bar, the mirrors do not. They just turn off right away. But anyways, let's get into doing the other side. All right, so we're on the other side of the truck. I know you guys have already seen this from the other side of the truck, but what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go ahead and pop this cap off right here, and then we're gonna have our 4 bolts, which will be here, 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 and here. So we'll end up taking those 4 bolts off, and this mirror will just pull right off, and then we can get the new mirror put in. Well, you guys probably couldn't notice there, but I definitely could. I left this bolt in a little bit just to make sure the mirror wouldn't fall. And when I was taking this one out, I could see the mirror slowly tipping. But it does have these threads that stick out here, so that'll grab on to the door itself. So hopefully we shouldn't have that issue of the whole thing falling. So I'll go ahead and stay holding on to it just in case here. Okay, we've got that off. So our mirror should be loose. We're just gonna go ahead, take that out, and our mirror should totally be loose. So I'm gonna go around to the other side. So we'll just grab it. We're gonna go ahead and just pull it straight out. So there we go, our mirror is now off. So now I'm gonna grab the other one, stick it right back into the same spot, and we'll get those bolts put back in and the wiring hooked up. All right, we've got the mirror. We're gonna go ahead, slide all the wiring through the hole here. We'll go ahead, try and get it lined up and get this guy slid in here. Like that, this mirror should be put in. I'm just gonna go ahead, grab it from the mirror side itself, make sure nothing decides to slide off. Go ahead, put these bolts back in. All right, we've got that. Now we're gonna tighten them up. We have got the new mirror put on here, and we've got bolt, and then this one, and this one all put in. So now we are good to go on the mirror install part. But as well, I want to note to you guys, so from the stock mirrors, this bolt did stick out a little further, or at least the threading on it did, because this white clip was tucked on here. And so you can kinda tuck it on again, but not by much. It was kinda held on by the threading. But whereas on this one, either the threading doesn't come out as far or the bolt isn't as long, but it is, I tightened it as much as what the stock mirror was at. Just to note for you guys who are actually doing this, I am having that issue, if you want to call it an issue, or it's just something that's happening. So now that we've got that all hooked up, we can go ahead, if I can do this, we'll see, look, it just came off again. See if I can do this with one hand here. Maybe. There we go. Clip that in there. You can hear a little click. And now, from just hooking this up, which is our 8-pin wiring harness, we have now got the turn signals to work. As you can tell, our DRL bar is not on, whereas on this side, it is on. Blue wire before, but we hit our turn signal on, and as you can tell, the turn signal is now on. But like I said, it's because this wiring right here, this is for your turn signal only. So if you're getting the lights with turn signal only, all you have to do is plug this in and you're set, you're good to go. You do not have to run this blue wire. But if you do want either that switchback or DRL bar, daytime running light, whatever you want to call it, you are going to need this blue wire, which we're going to have to do the same thing I did on the other side, but this time I'll show you guys. We're going to have to take the door panel apart and run it down all the way up to over here. So kind of sucks, but we got to do what we got to do. So I'll just tell you guys here, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a little plastic trim tool removal, and we're going to pop off this door handle cover, as well as this piece right here. As you can tell, there's a line up top and a line down low. This thing right here, this really skinny piece, this is connected to the door handle. You're gonna stick your tool either on the side here or in this bottom line, and this is the panel we need to remove. This upper piece is connected to the door handle itself. We're gonna pop both of those off, and I believe there's two, it's either 7 or 8 millimeter bolts. There's like one here, then one here, and one here. And we've also got, it's either a 7 or an 8 right here, and then down here and down here. So I believe these 3 black ones are 7 millimeters, and the ones behind here are all 8 millimeters. So we'll pop this off and we'll get all these bolts taken off, and then our door panel will be free and we can lift that off, and then we're gonna have 3 tabs, I guess, we're gonna take off. There's gonna be 2 wiring things, so there'll be like one here, and then we're gonna have the door latch release. So we're gonna take that door latch release off, as well as those 2 things of wiring, and then we can completely remove this door panel. So just to let you guys know, whichever side you're working on, you want to pop out the side further forward first. So on the passenger side, you're gonna wanna pop out the left side first. When you're on the driver's side, you're gonna wanna pop out your right side first. So it's just flip-flopped, but either way, it's the side most forward to like the engine. And I'll show you guys why here. So the reason for that being is, if you can see this here, then we've got this weird long plastic stick-in piece. And so that latches in and is stuck back in here. So you can't pop that out first because it'll just get stuck here. So you gotta pop out this left side first because it's got all these weird snaps and stuff, but you pop out the left side first and then that thing will just pull right out. So it's easy for me to do because, like I said, experience doing it with the other side. Hopefully the second side will take a lot quicker because the other one took me all of last night and an hour or so today. So like I said, make sure you got some time on your hands before you do this. So now what we'll do is we'll grab, that should be the 8 millimeter, and there'll be a bolt here, here. I guess I should pop this off first, actually. Excuse me. There we go. And this piece is also quite hard to remove, but it's the same kind of concept where you've got 2 like stick-in holder pieces on the bottom. So you're gonna wanna pop it out from either the side or the top. And then you're gonna pull out from the top first and then pull the bottom out because you've got these weird tab things in there. But now that we've got this piece off, we can take that 8 millimeter and we can get this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, and this bolt. And then this one and the 2 on the bottom will be 7 millimeters. I'll just let you guys know, I found this whole thing to be a lot easier to do with an extension on my ratchet, because back up in here, it is quite tight and very hard to get to. So any kind of extension you have is helpful so you can reach this stuff better. And then what I did is I laid these bolts out so that I know where they're all gonna go, because I don't really want to put bolts in the wrong spot and then have something not fit or work correctly when reinstalling. We now have all 4 of those 8 millimeter bolts out, so now we can get those 7 millimeters. We've got 1 here and 2 down low. Go ahead, take those out. All right, we now have every screw and bolt removed. One other thing I have learned, take everything out of the door before you try and lift it up, because all it does is make it heavier and harder for yourself. So take out the water bottle here. All we should have to do is lift up. Just make sure you lift up over this locking mechanism right here so that you don't hit it and break it. We're gonna lift up, and then like I said, we're gonna have the door handle latch and 2 wiring connectors. So we're gonna undo all of that. I'm not gonna be able to film it because, oh, I guess I forgot to mention, there's also some body clips in here. So we're gonna need to take another one of those plastic trim removal tools and pop all of these off. Cool, broke my tool twice now. It was a little bit of a struggle, but we got it. We've got all those clips off. Maybe we've got one more actually. It feels like it's loose. We should have every clip removed. So as you can tell, the door panel's loose. We're gonna go ahead and lift it up, undo all those connectors, and then we're gonna set the door panel aside so it doesn't get dirty. So lift up with it. I can't really film this, but there's a connector right here. Another one right here. There we go. And we've also got our door latch thing. I believe you push this down, maybe, this clip. I think you push it down. I was pushing it up, that's why I couldn't get it. Push it the opposite way I did. I think you push it up, but I pushed it down. But anyways, our door panel is now off, so now we have access to everything we need right back here. All right, door panel's off. First thing we're gonna do is undo this little twist tie here. We're gonna run it behind this module, like I showed you guys on the other side. It's gonna come down. We're gonna take off this boot, and we're also gonna slit a hole in the side of it. So that way, that wire is gonna cut in through the slit we make in this boot, and then we'll end up taking this boot off right after that. But to start, we'll get this boot off and run this wire down into the slit we make into this boot here. And make sure when you are doing this, your window is rolled down so you know where your window is at, because you can feel right back here, the edge of your window. And you can see it back in there too when you have a light on it. So you just wanna make sure you're not caught up in that window at all. So make sure before you even start, it's rolled down, because once you take that door panel off and undo all those clips and wiring, I mean, I guess you could roll it down from the driver's side, but like when you're on the driver's side, you can't roll it down because that's the only place you're able to roll that down at. We're gonna slit a little hole in our boot here without cutting anything. All right, now we've got a hole in that boot. So now we can take this blue wire, run it behind this PC control module up top. And I guess before you even start doing that, make sure you've got your wire stretched out, or not like stretched out, but undone, and that it's all straight and you have nothing wrapped up in itself, because then you're gonna have to pull it back out and redo it. There we go. Got it behind here, pull it all the way through, and then we're gonna take this tip of this of this wire here, and we're gonna stick it through that hole that we just made. Just pull it through. And like I just said, make sure you don't wrap the wire up, and here I go doing that. There we go, we got it through. And now we're gonna have to pop off this boot right here, if you guys can see that. We're gonna have to pop off this boot here, and then we're gonna have to pop off this upper boot as well. There we go. We've got this boot popped off. Now we'll pop off this upper boot. I guess actually there's a zip tie on this rubber boot up top, so we're gonna have to cut that first. Forgot to mention that. So I'll take our snippers in here. There we go. We got the zip tie cut. Pull that out of there. And now we can take off this upper boot. All right, so with this upper boot, then there's actually this little rubber cover over it. There's a plastic part that is stuck into this, whatever this panel thing is. That's plastic that's stuck in there. So there's an outer rubber boot that's on there. That is what you're gonna wanna pull off. And then from there, we've got 3 clips on this plastic boot. We've got 2 on top, my mistake there. And we've got 1 on the bottom. You're gonna wanna get your fingers up in there, and you're gonna wanna press them all. And then once they're pressed and pulled out, once they're all pressed, you can pull it out, kind of jimmy this thing out of here. Let me just tell you guys, if you don't have small hands or small fingers, this makes it hard. I'm assuming it's all guys watching this, so get ready to get in an argument with your wife, because you're probably gonna have to make her do this stuff, because chances are your hands are too big for it. Oh, man, this is tight. That's what sucks too. It's almost easier if you just take the whole door off and do it. There we go. Right as I said that, I got it. I don't know what you guys can see or not, but we have got 2 clips plugged into this plastic thing. We've got a gray one up top, and we've got a black one on the bottom. We're gonna wanna take both of those off, but just remember the gray one's up top and the black one's on the bottom. So to do that, there's a little clip on the back side of them. You're gonna push it down, and they'll pop off. So it's easier if you can try and get it outside a little bit. Because trust me, you do not want these to fall back in the door, because you will not be able to get them back out. I got that one off. Same thing, we'll push this little clip, so push it towards the center. There we go, just like that. So as you can maybe see back there, with whatever you guys can see or not, we've got a gray clip right there, and we've got a black one right there. So that gray one goes up top and that black one goes on the bottom. So I found it easier to grab this whole wiring thing and just stick it under this door hinge, so that way you've got way more access to it and it's a lot more free way down here. So the next thing we're gonna wanna do is you can either grab like a coat hanger or something. Like I stated earlier, I am using this flag. It's just an old little flag that goes in your yard. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape the wire onto the end of this, and we're gonna push it from where the wire is at now inside here. We're gonna push it up through here, which is where that little bottom rubber garment thing's at. So we're gonna tape that on there and push it up, and then we'll undo the tape and pull the flag back through. Hey, you don't have to use a flag. You can use any type of like thin metal. We're gonna stick this up and through here. Just like that. Now we're gonna undo this tape and we're gonna pull our wire through, and we're going to let this flag just go right back through from where it came. Pull our flag through, and we'll pull all this wiring through. There we go. We've got it tight enough. So now what Boost Auto Parts says to do is they say you're supposed to be able to take this rubber garment out all the way, and you can basically slide the wire in the back side of this garment and push it through. But I was not able to do that. I couldn't get to the back side of this. So I slid a little hole right here on this rubber garment, so it's still where it's in the door, but just right back here. I just slid a little hole through there, and then I did the same kind of thing where I taped my flag onto the end of that blue wire, and I pushed it through here. So that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna wanna push this wire through up to this black part we pulled up from up top. So I'm gonna cut a little hole right here so we can get to that. Just when you're doing this, make sure you do not hit any wires that are in there, because there is a lot of little wires. But just make sure you don't hit them. If you wanna play by the rules, you can. And you can try and take this piece out all the way and get in the back side, but I am not able to reach it. Here is my little hole I cut in here. I did not hit any wires, but what I'm gonna go ahead and do is we're going to take that flag, we're gonna tape it on the end of this blue wire like we had it before, and we're gonna push this flag through here, and we're gonna have it come out this bottom end. Just make sure when you're doing it, you don't accidentally cut or slice one of these wires that are in here. Yeah, let me tell you guys, this way is a lot quicker. After you do it the first time, it flies by. Like I said, the last one, I stayed out all night trying to do it. I was honestly probably working on it for at least 4 hours last night, and I got maybe half of it done. And I'll tell you, this was the hardest part for me last night. It was trying to get it through here, because like I said in the video I watched, it said you have to pull this whole thing out somehow. I can't get it, I couldn't get it on that side, and I can't get it on this side again. So I just cut a small hole there. And I also didn't have this little flag, so that made it a lot harder, because I could only push it to like right here and the thing got stuck. So this little piece of metal definitely helps, that is for sure. So we're gonna go ahead, push this piece of metal through here. I'm actually gonna try and make it straight because it's a little crooked. Now that we've got that straight, we should just be able to push this through here. Make sure you do it nice and gentle so you don't slit any other wire that's in there. Push it down. And now it is just popped right out of the bottom. Hopefully you guys can see that. It just pops right out like that. We're gonna go ahead, pull our wire off of there. We're gonna pull our flag back out before we end up breaking anything or something. Where did this come from? I don't know what just happened. This piece, whatever this thing is, I don't know. It just fell from the sky. Yeah, I don't know where this thing just fell from, but it just fell from somewhere in the door panel, somewhere. It looked like, I rewatched the footage, it looked like it fell from maybe somewhere up here, but I couldn't really see. Anyways, I guess we will just throw that away. We aren't gonna use that. So now that we've got this wire through here like this, we're gonna pull all this through, or just, I guess we don't have to pull all of it through because we're gonna end up pulling a majority of it back so we can make our big extra loop of wire here. Honestly, the amount I have is probably good enough because this wire is just gonna end up plugging in to this panel right here, but it's just enough so we can move it around and make it accessible and easy enough to be able to get to it. To the back side of this here. So as you can see, this is where all of our wiring and everything is. Where this guy's gonna plug in, this is the passenger side. So as I stated earlier, that one is B8 where it's gonna plug into. So this makes more sense to me now. I was a little confused because I thought this was the top side of it. So I was getting really confused because I was like, that's a lot of wires. And it looked like the spot I was supposed to plug into was already full. But actually, so I held it up like this, and I was like, oh, wait a second. It's upside down because it's gonna plug in like this. So actually, it sits in like this. So this is our top side. And like I said, on the other side, I believe it was B8, I think we plugged into. So this side's B11. One of them is B8, one is B11. But I do know on the other one, we plugged in on the left side. So it would be like right here, and on this side we plug in on the right side, so it's gonna be right there. And it is labeled, so the other side was the left side. So this is the correct way, because now I can read it. Apparently I was still holding it upside down. But we plug into the bottom here. So the left side is going to be B8, and the right side is going to be B11. So I know on the other side we plugged into the left side. This side we're gonna plug it into the right side. But to do that, what we're gonna do is you've got these weird little clips here on the side. What you're gonna do is you're gonna press in on those and push this forward, which releases this connector and pushes it forward. But when you do that, you wanna make sure you don't push it out all the way. You're just gonna push it out enough so that the piece is released. So there we go. We've got it pushed forward. So now this piece is loose in here, but we don't wanna fully remove it. We're gonna grab this wire. And so I believe what it is it'd be the piece with the solder goes on the bottom. So it would be the piece, so like this side that is facing you guys. So this would be the top side with this weird hump thing on the top there. That's the top. This side is gonna be the bottom where you can see more of the wire. So it's gonna go in with this bottom side down, and we're just gonna plug it in to that, I think it was B11 maybe, whichever one's on the right. You're gonna plug it in, and then you're gonna plug it in just far enough to where you can feel a little click in there. I haven't quite felt it yet. All right guys, excuse the noise because it's quite loud, but I couldn't get this to work for some reason. Holy cow, that's loud. Okay, I couldn't get this to work for some reason, but I figured out what I was doing wrong. Is you're gonna hold it this way, so all the wires are on the bottom. Same thing, like I said, the piece of like what's soldered is on the bottom, and you're gonna plug it in on this big hole on the right, which I believe is B11. So it's gonna go like that. You're gonna insert it so you can feel and hear a click. I heard it, I don't know if you guys can or not because it's so loud. But anyways, just like that, and you can see it's snug in here, it's not going anywhere. So now that you've got that, you can push this piece back in. As you can see, all that white pushed back down in there, and this is stuck in here, it's not going anywhere. So now that we've got that, we can pull this blue wire back through so that we don't have so much jammed up in here. And now we've got a big loop of blue wire here, which we can come back to the door panel over here. I'm not sure what you guys can see. And back over here, we can pull some back. And there we go, we have got it all pulled back. Just leave a little bit of looseness in there so it's not super tight to where you pull the wire out or anything. but we've got it pulled back all the way to down here. So for now, we're gonna leave that, and we're gonna get this tucked back up behind here and get this stuff re-plugged in. So it's gonna be the same thing where we've got this gray and black connector. The black connector is gonna go in the bottom, and the gray one is gonna go into the top. Okay, so black into the bottom, and gray will go into the top, just like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and we can actually test it out right now, just to make sure it works. Because our wiring is now hooked up. Everything else from here will just be closing that back up, putting the zip tie on, pushing that garment back in, running this wire back up through, tucking it up, and all that. So let's grab this key, make sure this works. Here is this side real quick, show you it works, and there we have it. This side works as well. All right, so now that we have gone ahead and make sure everything works, what we can do is push this guy, this connector here, back up in here until you can hear that snap. And now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna grab that zip tie provided in the kit, and we're gonna run it around this outside. And so once it's on there, it's just so we've got some more wiggle room right now, but once we've got that on, we'll go ahead and push this garment back onto this plastic piece, and then we can tighten that zip tie to make sure it'll all stay in there. So my mistake of what I said before, apparently the kit only comes with 2 zip ties in total. So one for here and one for the other side. I thought it came with 2, and 2 with each mirror, but it only comes with 2 in total. So now at this point, I'm just using my own zip ties because I accidentally used them both on the other side. Because like I said, I used one right here to hold up all the wiring, but no big deal. It'll be the same result either way. So we'll get this zip tie put around here, and then we'll get this rubber boot put on here and get that zip tie nice and tight so that nothing will fall out. All right, and there we go. After a lot of struggling to get that, probably took me 30 minutes, honestly. It was really hard to get that on there. Just for some reason, I was not able to get that rubber garment back on and get that zip tie on there. The other side was fine. I didn't have an issue with it, but for some reason this side, I just couldn't get that rubber garment back on the top there, at least. That's what I'm talking about. I haven't even got to the bottom yet. The bottom should be really easy. It's just with the top. Then you've got that plastic piece, and this has to go over the top of it. When you're at the bottom, it's just this whole thing pops in there. So that should end up being a lot easier. But after a lot of struggling with that, I guess we can just go ahead and get this bottom one in. I'm just gonna go right here. There we go. That one was definitely easier, getting that garment in there, or boot, whatever you want to call it. So now we can just pull all this slack wire through. So we've got all our slack up top here. Make sure this wire is not hitting the window or in the way of the window. If you need to, leave a little bit of extra wire in there so that it won't get in the way of the window, because the window's down right now and I can feel it. The window goes down to about right here. So you want to make sure that wire is off to the side, out of the way. But if you need to, just leave some extra wire in there, so that way you do not end up hitting the window with that wire, and either the window doesn't go down all the way or you break the wire, because that would not be too good. There we go. We've got this garment put back on. So now we should just be able to roll this wire up and then use a zip tie, make a loop, and get it put up there. So we should be totally good. Let's go ahead and get one last time just to make sure everything works, nothing broke while we were putting it away. As you can tell, these things look super sick. It's hard to tell for you guys with this lighting, but I can definitely tell they look super sick. So now that we've got all that done, our next step here is just gonna be pretty much reinstalling this door panel. Like I said, there was a weird little star thing that fell down. I have no idea where that came from or where that goes, and I'm not about to take off the other door panel as I just got it put back on. We're just gonna grab the door panel, get it reinstalled. We're just gonna plug in this piece again because this was for our door latch. So get that put back in, and then we're gonna plug in both of these wiring harness things, and then just set it back on the door, make sure we get it up over the top of the locking mechanism. We get this stuff pushed back behind there. And there's gonna be those couple body clips. We're gonna push it in, and we're gonna put all the rest of our bolts in. We got door panel on. Now, you just wanna make sure this blue wire isn't sticking out on the side of the door. Now we're just gonna, all those body clips on here, we're just gonna wanna clip those back on. Just give her a couple smacks. Tell you guys it was really hard lining up the lock and unlock over there, but ended up getting it done. We got all those body clips on. Now we can just go ahead, put our bolts back in. So we've got 2 down low, 1 up here, and then 2 here and 2 here. So we'll go ahead and get those reinstalled. Okay, we've got all the bolts put on. Now we can go ahead and put this piece and this piece back in. I'll do the lower one first. Like I showed you guys earlier, where the bottom part sticks down, so you're gonna wanna insert that first. So you'll go like that, and then the top will just clip in. And then same thing with this little door handle cover. It sticks out further there, so that part is gonna get inserted first. Stick it in back like that. And then new one just pops on, or just pops on like that. And get all of this stuff kind of tucked back up in here as good as we can. And we can go ahead and get this little cover cap snapped back on. And just like that, we should be good to go. The only other thing is we've got the mirror caps to install, but we gotta wait till those are done with paint. Other than that, I'll just show you guys everything, what it all looks like. All right guys, so I'm up in the truck here. Just wanna show you guys what the mirrors look like. So you've got just your regular mirror part right there, and it is heated as well. And then you've got your tow mirror aspect to it as well. This way I can see the tires and everything in my blind spot and behind me. And same thing with that side. You've got your regular mirror and then your tow mirror aspect to it. So truck's on. Let me go ahead and shut it off, hop out, and show you guys what it looks like from the outside. All right guys, here is what it looks like. Yeah, we might have to do a little bit of trimming here on the front crash bar. Hit a bump at a turn, we might rub. Might have to do a little bit of trimming there. But oh well. Wheels look really good too. The whole truck just looks super sick. I think it looks really good. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. I think those mirrors, just that little hint of just hell yeah. But it looks really good. You can kind of tell where, probably can't really tell on camera here, but I can tell in person. You can see where it goes like do 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 with the different LEDs. So it's not like a full strip like how the headlights are, but I still think it looks super good. Just wait till we get those painted caps on there. It'll tie this whole thing together. Super good. I'm just loving the look of these so far. Yeah, it looks super good. Yeah, and you can see there's like holes up there and stuff, but that's because that's where the caps would be. But because we don't have the caps on yet, then that's just why it looks like that. But I just think it looks super sweet. We got it done in perfect timing. Just perfect for for sunset out here. You can see we got the new antenna on as well. If you guys didn't check out that video, I think it all just looks super sick. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, because we've got it on both sides here and there. We've got our running lights. Headlights are being weird. That's just what it does with the camera though. Turn on the hazards. Show you guys what that looks like with all of our different stuff going on. And that looks super sick from over here too. We've got that, I can't even think of the name of it, but we've got that going on with the headlights where it goes like off to the side down into the middle. We've got it blinking on the mirrors as well, and it would do the same thing as if this was a turn signal as well, but I just went ahead and turned on the flashers so you guys could see the whole thing. I think it actually looks super sweet like this. I think just right when we hit the unlock and everything turns amber, I think it'll make for some pretty sick pictures, honestly. Like that looks super sweet in my opinion. Drop a comment down below, let me know what you guys think about it. Here pretty soon we'll have the mirror caps on. I'm not quite sure how those videos are gonna line up, and also just let me know what other mods and features and everything else you guys want to see done to the truck, future things you want to see done, and what you do and don't like about the truck, what you would change. I'd just love to hear you guys' comments. Please let me know what you think, or just anything down in the description or down in the comments below. But as always, thanks for watching another video of Bloom Outdoors. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time.